Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, as always. My name is OG the Beast. Here with me is my co-host, Chilltown32. Unc, what's poppin'?
Hey, with my nephew tonight, you know what time it is.
You already know what time it is. You know, you know what time it is. Y'all should know what time it is. Y'all know what we like to do on Fridays. What we like to do on Fridays, we like to sit back. We like to chill. It's Barbershop Fridays, man. You know, it's majority basketball. Actually, it's all basketball. Like Unc like to say, you ain't even got to get your hair cut. Just come in, just hang it out. Just chop it up with us.
That's
You
what
know
the
what I'm saying?
barbershop is. Think of it like a country club. You could just come hang out. You ain't really got to do much. You ain't got to pay no. Just come hang out, man.
Just come
Come hang
kick
out.
it.
Let's talk. Yeah,
Facts. Let's just come kick
absolutely.
it. You know what I'm saying? Dubs in the chat if you enjoy yourself. I appreciate all the loyals that stopped in today. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. The loyals on YouTube. You know I got to get them a shout out. We developing a fan base over there, man. So if you don't get a chance to catch this show live, you could always catch it on YouTube the following day. www.youtube.com/sports behavior podcast. Y'all know where to find us. Shout out to them cats over there. Hashtag loyal base in the comments. Y'all already know how we rocking. Let's get the engagement popping. And of course, every Tuesday, Friday night, right here on Twitch, live on Twitch, baby. You know, bringing y'all this hot fire, this die line. What's going on? We got a couple loyals in here. Elite Beast Gaming was popping. Ball Rat, as always, was popping. Let's see who we got up in here, man. You know, it's a big up OG and OG from the UK. Copy that. Appreciate you, man.
UK in the house. What's up, brother?
Appreciate
UK
you.
is in the
Appreciate
house.
you.
No doubt. Been to the UK before. The UK is fire.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Definitely digging the UK.
Dub,
Definitely
appreciate
digging UK.
the resubscription, man. 2 months. I appreciate you, man. We always appreciate y'all, man. Looking out. First time chatter. NFL talk, please, man. That's Tuesdays, man. We chime in some NFL if it's some breaking news or something of importance to speak about, but we pretty much covered everything for the weekend on Tuesday. You know, so from here on out, man, Friday nights, man, we kick back on some B-ball today, man. But
Come check us out on Tuesday too,
yeah.
man. Because we got championship weekend this weekend. So come back and check us
Oh,
out
you know
Tuesday because
Tuesday
we're gonna
gonna
be
be
yapping
lit.
about it. Yeah, we're gonna be yapping about it, no doubt about
You
it.
know Tuesday
We're
gonna
gonna
be
be
lit.
yapping
You like
about
NFL?
it.
That's Tuesdays. Fridays we talk mostly basketball. But I appreciate anybody stepping in here, man, to enjoy this conversation me and Unc having. But to kick off the show, All-Star voting process begun and ended, right? So we all know who the starters are. We don't know who the reserves are yet. That's soon to be announced. But we know who the starters are, right? So every single year, everybody got their list. Everybody's scrolling through their phone trying to, damn, why my favorite player ain't make it as a starter? Now, we haven't seen the reserves yet to reiterate that point. So we don't know who actually got snubbed. But when it comes to the all-star starters, how the voting process works is 50% fan vote, 25% executive, 25% players, right? They vote for each other. So it's a pretty decent amount of the starters goes to the fans. I believe the reserves is 50% players, 50% executives. I don't think the fans get a vote for the reserves, but they get a vote for the starters, right? Nothing wrong with that. I actually like the fan engagement when it comes to the voting process. A lot of people complain about it because guys like Ben Simmons got a couple of votes. Guys like Kyrie Irving, who barely played any games this year, got a bunch of votes. So it's like kind of skewed in that direction when it comes to the voting process. But damn it, it is what it is. Andrew Wiggins is a all-star. Why? Because the fan vote tilted the scale. A lot of the executives and players really didn't vote for Andrew Wiggins in that spot, but because the fan vote takes up 50% of the process, he got in. And I like it. I'm not mad at it. Now, to talk about who actually made the list, right? Of course, they doing the whole drafting process. LeBron James, the two guys with the most fan votes get to be the captains. Every year until these guys retire, it's going to be LeBron. It's going to be Kevin Durant. Those are the two best players in the NBA, right? They both get to represent. For the Eastern Conference, the all-star starters is Giannis, Embiid, KD, Young, and DeMar DeRozan. So Trae Young made it again for the second consecutive season. Shout out to Trae Young for making it to the All-Star game again as a starter. The Western Conference is LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, of course, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. deservingly so, Ja Morant. Shout out to Ja Morant. He's having an exceptional season. He definitely deserves to be an all-star starter. Now, the question I have, we mentioned snubs a little bit ago. We mentioned snubs. Is there anybody that didn't make it as a starter that you felt like should have made it as a starter, even if they make it as a reserve?
I actually thought Cat was going to be a starter. I had him starting in the All-Star game. We talking about a guy who's in the top 15 in rebounding, top 15 in scoring. He's in the top 20 in blocks. Minnesota is a lot better this year. But a lot of people forget that, what is All-Star Weekend about? All-Star Weekend is about the fans. It's always been about the fans. Now, there have been times where, we've had guys who got voted onto the All-Star team where you're thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? I mean, Magic got voted onto the All-Star team in 92. He didn't play a minute. Right? So we got Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson finished 5th. He just came back into the lineup.
Right.
2 years being off. Kyrie Irving is in and out the lineup. And I think he was 7th, something like that. So I can appreciate them wanting to change the process. However, when I look at the way that they have this formatted and how it's put together, I like the way it's put together. I got no problem with Andrew Wiggins making the All-Star team. What I have a problem with is how long it took. About damn time.
8 years.
We're in year 8, right? So we're in year 8 with Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, who was the #1 overall pick in the draft. I was excited about Andrew Wiggins coming into the league. In fact, I wasn't really feeling trading him. I thought he would be good with James. But I understand why they did what they did.
They had to get Kevin Love.
Yeah, I understand why they did what they did, and I don't have a problem with that at all. But in the 8 years he's been in the league, 0 All-NBA teams, 0 All-League defensive teams.
Has he really deserved it, though, Unc?
Well, we talking about a dude who averaged 20 a game, 20 and 5. I think that he could be a better rebounder. We talking about a dude who's 20 and 5 for his career. 4 times in the 8 years, he's done that. So I think a lot of it has been empty. That's been the problem. Because we talking about in Minnesota where he's playing with an elite big. So I expected more from him. I don't think that he is a bust because I hear a lot of people talk about him in the bust category. And I'm thinking he's not a bust. I just expected more from him. I don't put him in the same category with guys like Anthony Bennett and Chris Washburn.
Oh, no. Hell no.
I don't put him in the same category with guys like that. I will say that him playing in Golden State helped his case for him to be an all-star because the stuff that he's doing now, he basically was doing the same thing when he was in Minnesota, only except he's in a bigger market. And not only is he in a bigger market, he playing with Steph Curry. So more cameras are on him. More lights are on him. So it helps him in that aspect.
And that is why sometimes I believe all-star voting, when used as credibility for a player, right, as an accolade, can be skewed. 8-time all-star, whatever. Because it's a lot of guys that made the all-star team that are not on the same level as certain guys that also made the all-star team. Now, if you using credibility for LeBron, 18-time all-star, consecutive, ties the record with Kobe, I think. If you using something like that for LeBron, I get it. But you want to talk about Kyle Korver making it to the all-star game, guys like that, it's like, come on, bro. Oh, he had an all-star with him. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, solid player. But people like to say, oh, well, LeBron had an all-star with him. Yeah, he was an all-star, but Big Z was nice, but he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like people try to make it out to be. So all-star voting kind of attributes to team success, in my opinion, too, as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that, too. Chris, because now we get to find out, is this dude a one-hit wonder? Or are you gonna be around for a while? Do I need to get used to seeing you, Andrew Wiggins? That's my question. Or are you just a guy who made a hit record and it's gonna sell 15 million copies and I'm never gonna hear from you again, and that's gonna be it? Or are you somebody that I need to get used to seeing?
We're gonna get to that towards the end of the show.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we clear because I'm looking at this guy and I'm wondering because I remember hearing Kobe say that to me a long time ago. So I'm real interested to find that out.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I got no issues with the way the all-star voting is taking place. I got absolutely no issues with Andrew Wiggins being an all-star starter. If I had to choose some guys to get snubbed from the Eastern Conference, Harden, Zach LaVine, I feel like those two guys probably could have made it. But the question is over who? At the expense of Trae Young? I mean, it really, really depends on how you want to bend the switch. I don't, like I say, I got no issues with the guys that they got in there. No issues with Wiggins, Steph, even though he's been struggling over the past 10 or so games. Ja Morant is probably the most deserving guy on this list next to Jokic and LeBron. I got no issues with it. But if I had to pick snubs, Eastern Conference, it'd be Harden and LaVine. Western Conference, it'd be Chris Paul and Rudy Gobert. I just feel like Rudy Gobert's importance is so undermined. A lot of people dog Rudy Gobert because he's boring. Nobody wants to see Rudy Gobert in the All-Star game. Damn that. If you got Rudy Gobert there and he's doing what he does in the regular season and playoffs, he's defending men in that paint, when the biggest liability in the All-Star game is paint protection. And if y'all trying to get all these layups and free dunks, and Rudy Gobert says, I'm letting y'all know before the game, if y'all try to come to this hole, I'm knocking you out. It's no easy buckets. And
okay, Chris, let's make sure we 100% clear, right? The All-Star game is supposed to be the best pickup game on the planet.
True.
That's what it's supposed to be.
No doubt.
It's not supposed to be you score, I score, you score. No, it's supposed to be absolutely that. The best pickup game on the planet. So, with that being said, Jabbar is in the middle telling Patrick Ewing, you're not scoring on me.
Right.
Absolutely. Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid, which we also going to get into also. Joel Embiid is telling Anthony Davis, you ain't score. He should be telling him that. You're not going to score on me. Because that's what the All-Star game is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be you go, then I go. Okay, then you. No,
that's what it's gotten to at this point, though, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's gotten to now. Guys used to play a little bit of defense because they had a little name to live up to. They had some pride behind them, but now it's just guys just running around, dunking the ball. Steph Curry laying on the ground, letting Giannis dunk it. There's really no defense being played in these games. So if you think about what a Rudy Gobert in an All-Star game could do. He's altering shots, blocking shots, pissing guys off, and he's making it a competition. Bet you can't come dunk on me. Now's the time to do it. Come dunk on me. You know what I'm saying? So I think Rudy Gobert should have been in there. Chris Paul, these guys, ain't they the number one seed in the Western Conference? Phoenix. That's what I'm saying. Chris Paul, somebody from Phoenix should have been an All-Star starter just off the strength of that by itself, right? But
I had Curry.
That's
I
what
had him and Curry in the backcourt.
That's what I'm saying.
Curry in the
backcourt. But like I say, I'm not mad at any decision that they've made. Ja Morant is definitely deserving of it, but it is what it is at that point. But I got something interesting that I want to segue to, right? I was watching ESPN earlier, and I saw Stephen A. Smith running his mouth as usual. But this time I opened my ears a little bit wider when he was running his mouth because what he was saying was making sense. And I said, that's not a bad point, right? He was talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. He said, the Cleveland Cavaliers, in his opinion, are so good, he would not be surprised if they came out the Eastern Conference this year. Now, mind you, the Cleveland Cavaliers were supposed to be in rebuild mode. These guys are still trying to figure it out. They're still in the process of developing the young talent that they've drafted over the past 5 years, right? And you find them in contention in the Eastern Conference is what you're trying to tell me, Stephen A? So it's like hard to believe, but if you look at it, really, really look at it, you'll see that these guys are like the 5th seed, 4th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. 3rd seed? 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference right now.
1 game out of first.
1 game out of first place, right? They really forcing the issue. Darius, and they deep as hell. So what Stephen A. Smith said is, I would not be surprised if this team came out of the Eastern Conference. And not only that, but what if LeBron James goes to this team as soon as next season?
Start that. Don't start that. Oh, I knew I was going to hear that.
What if LeBron James goes back to Cleveland as soon as next season? Because let's face it, these Lakers, Capricio, they're trash. They are dumpster material. Hey, son, take that garbage out. You dragging it across the kitchen floor. You go to throw the garbage out and you walk back in and see a puddle on the kitchen floor. That's the Lakers. That puddle. That's the Lakers. Trash. Point blank period. So LeBron could be turning to Chris Brown on them boys. Deuces. Go back home to Darius Garland. Go back home to how many years LeBron got left on his contract? 1?
Yeah, after next year, he out.
He out. And let's pray to God it's not a player option. So LeBron could be gone as soon as next season, and let's say he want to go back home and sign and go back home. They got enough money to do it on the books because nobody's under contract in Cleveland. Who's under contract? They about to get rid of Colin Sexton because they don't want to pay him that max. Nobody's under. I can't think of a name under contract. Maybe Jared Allen. That's it. So they got a whole boatload of money. Kevin Love. He got 2 more years. So Kevin Love is on the back end of his contract, a bad one. Then you got Jared Allen who's under contract for big money, right? Nobody else on that roster is under contract for big money. So you can sign LeBron James to the max, and with LeBron James, you add a Darius Garland, a Laurie Marketing, all these front court players that they got. It's nasty. It's Coral, Mobley. It's nasty, man. Sexton when he get healthy, it'll be nasty, man. Like that's just Stephen A. Smith's words. What you think about it? How you take that?
Well,
I want to
first
know
of all,
your
I had
opinion on this one here.
I had him on the outside looking in. I was completely wrong about Cleveland, but they got 8 guys, count them beats, 8 guys averaging in double figures.
Double figures.
Four of those 8 guys averaging 15 or more, right? And with all of that being said, they one of the best rebounding teams in the game. They one of the best defensive teams in the game. They're one of the better teams against the assist in the game. They're second in the league in points. They're in the top 5 in the league in free throws and free throw attempts. So number one, I want to start the conversation by saying that when I hear stuff like assists, that means that we're getting a lot of pressure on the wings. That means that you're not getting whatever you want to get. When I hear stuff like free throws and free throw attempts, that means we don't foul a lot. That means we're playing good defense, right? When I hear stuff like they second in the league in points, that suggests to me that, we holding these dudes down.
Facts.
Absolutely. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm very encouraged about that. I got a guy in Garland who's almost 20-8. Now, you had mentioned they're supposed to be in rebuild mode. Well, they are, only except these guys are now panning out. Darius Garland, he's actually panning out. Okoro, he's panning out. Mobley, and I was trying to understand your logic because you don't like this Jared Allen Mobley thing with the bigs. You don't like it, and I think the issue. I'm trying to make sense of what your logic is because I think your issue is that Jared Allen is clogging the lane, but what you're forgetting is Evan Mobley is more of a Chris Bosh type. He stretches the defense. His game is 15 to 18 feet, and that's just going to expand as he comes along and gets better, and that's going to help them even more. Now, add that to the fact that I think that Evan Mobley is the only rook since Tim Duncan in '98 to possibly make the All-League defensive team because I think he's absolutely in the running for that.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. So with that being said, I'd like to see Garland take care of the basketball a little bit more. I mean, he's got a 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. That's only because he just got in the league 3 years ago.
Yeah, not only that, he's used to playing off the ball. He's a combo guy.
Yeah, right. So he's getting better. And I didn't see.
To be honest with you, 8 assists for Darius Garland seemed like a stretch for me. I thought he was more of a 4 to 5 assist guy, but he's flourished in that role. See, that's what I mean when I say you never know what a guy's capable of until he's put in that situation. For instance, if John Wall is still on the Wizards and he never got hurt, I don't think we see this former Bradley Beal that we see now. Point blank period. That is my logic, and I'm sticking to it. John Wall was very, very ball dominant. Ball dominant, right? I think if John Wall never gets hurt, we do not see this Bradley Beal.
But he was also a distributor too. We talking about a dude who's almost 20-10
True.
when he was when they was rolling together. It wasn't like even though John Wall was ball dominant, he absolutely got off the peel.
No doubt about it, but he holds it too much, and Bradley Beal's a guy that likes to get his own. So if you stopping this guy from getting his own on a consistent basis, now he could pretty much dictate the flow and the pace of the offense. He could shoot it whenever he wanted. He couldn't do that with John Wall at the helm. So it's like I feel like certain players can hinder other players' success. Right. And you don't know what that player is capable of until put in that situation. Another example, Michael Jordan in the late 80s, asked him to play point guard, averaged a triple-double for the duration of the time they asked him to. People say, Mike's not a great passer. Oh, Mike's not a great rebounder. Well, he's never been put in that position to have to be that. So you don't know what a player can and can't do until they're put in a position to do it or given the opportunity to do it, like Bradley Beal. We didn't know we would see this form of James Harden until he left OKC, got his own team. First game, he dropped 40 points in a Houston jersey. People say, oh, this dude is the truth. You don't know what you got until you put in a position where you have to provide that, aspect of your game.
I can absolutely get with that logic. And when I look at this Cleveland team, I did not know in terms of the development. What I want you to pay attention to more is I just want you to pay attention. Let's get off of Jared Allen being the rim protector and the lane clogger, because I think that's what you're looking at the most.
It's 90s ball to me.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking at the most. But what I want you to pay more attention to the potential of Evan Mobley and his game and the evolution of Evan Mobley, what it's going to be. Because I see a more athletic version and a better rebounder and a better defender. I see a better Chris Bosh in him going forward. And with that being said, and I might get roasted for this because I look at Darius Garland and he gives me Isaiah Thomas vibes when I look at him. And the reason why I say that is I'm looking at the floor general that he is, right? And the reason why that's going on is because of Rubio. When Rubio was there, I can't discount, and I can't tell you how important it is when you in the NBA to have a vet, to have somebody that's showing you the game. And for him to have a guy in Rubio who was behind him, who was pushing him, who was absolutely showing him how to run the point guard spot, that helped him out tremendously, no doubt. Don't think for 1 second that this Cleveland team, they may be this year's Atlanta from last year. They could very well be that. They could very well be last year's Atlanta.
Defensively, they a problem. This team is just so. To me, I thought it was just a bunch of scrambled players, right? I thought it was just a bunch of players in one destination just trying to get a check. But it seemed like those players turned from we just here to just try to get a check. We on a bad team, we don't give a damn, to depth. It's just not a bunch of players on a bad team trying to get a check. These mofos is depth. Your front court is Larry Marketing, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Kevin Love. I'm missing a couple of guys.
You're not Okoro.
One more.
When we first got to
Jetty Osman.
When we first got, and don't leave out how big a deal Kevin Love has been playing. We can't leave that out. That's a big deal what Kevin Love has been doing. And I stand on how well he's been playing. I still stand on Evan Mobley being the Rook of the Year. But with that being said, just like how you felt about Jared Allen, I really didn't like the Euro coming over initially because I thought that he was going to stunt Okoro's growth. Because Okoro gives me a lot of Sean Marion vibes. That's what he gives me, a great transition player he got a funky looking jump shot, but he can knock down the mid range and he could be one of those better small forwards in the game. But I love what Cleveland is doing in terms of what they're building. And you know what we got to also do too, Chris? We got to start talking about Bernie Bickerstaff as coach of the year.
Facts.
We have to start talking about that.
Bickerstaff got these boys rolling. Third seed in the Eastern Conference, a couple of games from first place. They is on our Bulls' ass. Speaking of which, them boys won 7 of their last 8 games with impressive victories over the Nets and the Bucks, right? Over the Nets and the Bucks, impressive victories. 7 of their last 8. That is definitely
served the Bucks, by the way.
That's
served them.
Only loss was to my Bulls, so that's definitely an impressive run for Cleveland. And Stephen A. said that he think they got the potential to come out the East. I like to see it. I love to see it. Hey,
I don't know if I'm going that far, Chris. I don't know if I'm going that far.
I like to see it because you got some guys in all red that's going to be waiting on you, and we're going to be a problem this year. I'm telling you. I don't know, man. Y'all definitely. Here's the problem with your Bulls. The problem that we having right now, and this has always been the biggest problem when it comes to the championship team. You guys are decimated with injuries. Right.
Decimated. So we got Lonzo out for 2 months. We got Caruso. He had already been out for a couple of weeks. Then he comes back and he gets hurt. So now he out 2 months again. Right? Pat Williams is out for the season, which I hate that. That makes me nuts. Right.
So now such a great 3D player for us in that fourth slot.
I just thought he was going to be great. Derrick Jones Jr. breaks his finger, so he's out of the lineup. Zach LaVine, he's going to be in and out of the lineup. So I think that with you guys being decimated by injuries, And not to mention, we're talking about the Eastern Conference, which is way better now than it's been. We're talking about from 1 to 6, only separated by 2 games.
Yep.
But so in 3 days, you could go from the number 1 seed to you can go from hosting the playoff. Yeah, you can go from hosting the playoff series to dropping to I got to go on the road now.
Mm-hmm.
That quickly. So the thing that I'm concerned with the Bulls the most, I still think that even when you're healthy, I still think you're a guy away, but you got to get healthy, though, man. That's the most important part.
I think we a guy away in that front court, and we need to address that ASAP. Like, I'm tired of playing the games. We need to address that ASAP, right? Speaking of addressing something ASAP, both of these guys made the All-Star games, right? The two predominantly post / demigod big man in the game, and that's Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. These guys are specimens, talents that we've never seen before. I've never seen a big man do the things that Jokic can do on a consistent basis, and I've never seen a big man do the things that Joel can do on a consistent basis. These guys have been nothing short of excellent. On the season, Embiid is averaging 29, 10, and 4. 81% from the free throw line, 36% from 3, 49% from the field, almost 50% from the field. That's amazing. 13 and 3 in his last 16 games. And during that stretch, he's averaging 34, 10, and 4. Joel Embiid is nothing short of a monster. And his counterpart, his rival, the guy that they love to compare him to, who's better? Joker. 26, 13, and 7. He's almost leading the league in rebounds.
Don't shortchange him with that 13. That's 14. 13.8. That's 14. Don't shortchange him with that.
14. That's what I'm saying. He's almost leading the league. I think Gobert is leading the league right now. He's right on his ass. 26, 14, and 7. 80% from the free throw line. 37% from 3, which is amazing for a big man. Mind you, 37% from 3. 57% from field. 57% from the field, bro. It's amazing. Shout out to Joker. That same stretch, right? He's 11 and 5, 26, 14, and 8 through that same stretch. Just phenomenal play. And I'm one of those guys that's on the fence about big man really passing. But when you watch the flow of the game and you see that they really don't have that one guy, like if they had a Chris Paul, I don't think Joker would be doing the things that he's doing. They completely run the offense through him. You see him at the top of the key, and he ain't just a guy that's just getting a bunch of assists. No, he can really pass the ball. Like, he's hitting guys in stride, bounce passing it through guys' legs. He can really pass the ball. No look. Like, Joker plays at his own pace, and he's immensely talented. So with all that being said, Unc, for like the 50th time this year I've asked you, who's better, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic? Give me a guy. Hold on. I want y'all to participate in this too. Everybody in them comments and on YouTube, let me know in the comments, in the chat, who the hell y'all got? Joker or Embiid? I need to know. Like, I'm on a need-to-know basis. Who the hell y'all got? Joker or Embiid? Let me know.
Now, what you can't do is I don't want you to stop with what you was giving me with Joker, the 26, 14, and 8. Don't stop there. He got a higher PER this year than he did last year when he won the league MVP. All right? He lead the league in offensive win shares, which he also did last year. He lead the league in overall win shares, which he also did last year, right? He also lead the league in plus minus overall, just like he did last year, all right? Like you just said, second in the league in rebounding, 8th in the league in scoring, all right? He's got 8 20-20 games.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the game could say that they got that. 8 of them, all right? So when I look at a guy like Joker, I get this Dirk vibe, except a better all-around offensive player. That's what I get.
You love that damn word, all around.
Because you know how I feel about being a complete play beast. Chris, I know how you are about putting the ball in the basket.
Damn right.
It's all about scoring.
You damn right.
About that.
You damn right.
I told you this many a times. I don't care if you just got a pretty face. I want to know what you do for a living. I want to know who you hang around. I want to know where you live.
All around.
I want to know what's up with you, honey. I can't just be looking at your pretty face.
Man, I'm looking
because
at
you ain't
that
always
ass
gonna
and
be
I get
pretty.
blind. That's what I see. That's what
Right.
scoring is. When I look at that ass, I think about scoring.
That's all you looking at, right? And you
Damn
can't just get
right.
sucked into that, man. No, because it's way more than that. And that's why I'm loving what Joker is doing. But on the flip side to that, you know what? Philly got a dude like that too. Now, Embiid ain't got the job that, aka the job or the ass that this chick got. Nah,
Yeah.
he ain't got that. But he got the other stuff. Absolutely. I'm the better rim protector. I'm just as good a rebounder, right? I score the basketball better than you, right? I do all of that. We're talking about 13 out of 14 games, 30 and 10. 30 and 10. And he would have won the league MVP last year had he not gotten hurt.
Because
And he
he's
would have won
having
it
a
going
better
away.
season last year than he is right now. And he's amazing
Right.
right now. So think about that.
He's amazing right now. He would have actually won it going away. Here, the problem that we having with this MVP talk. The problem that we having is Philadelphia is in 5th place. And you said this to me because Denver is in 6th place. We already seen this movie with Russ. And the precedent that you are sending when you give this dude the league MVP, that now winning ain't that important.
Exactly.
And now what we doing is we going off, if I'm doing what you doing and I'm in 3rd place or I'm in 2nd place, who's the better player now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that's completely different in terms of the criteria than what it used to be. And now you're going to completely switch this up. And I think the NBA, like you said, switched it up when they did that with Russ, and it was like, no, we can't do that again.
Do that again.
No, we can't do that
Yeah.
again. We have to stay consistent. And the way we stay consistent is we got to win, which is why I said, even though I'm going with Embiid, Embiid is my guy. And the reason why Embiid is my guy, because when I look at Embiid as a rim protector, when I look at Embiid as a defender, he's my guy. But when I look at the league MVP right now, I think it's Giannis is to lose. Milwaukee 1 game out of 1st place. He 28-11. I think it's his MVP to lose.
Giannis, Kevin Durant comes to mind.
I think
DeMar DeRozan needs to get a little bit more
out.
love. You think KD's out because of the injury?
He's gonna miss 2 months. He's out.
Yeah.
And the fact that what the Bulls are doing right now, they going the other way. Lost 7 of their last 10, so they going the other way. So that's really hurting DeMar DeRozan. Same thing with Ja. When I look at what Ja's done, and Ja hasn't been doing, and we're gonna get to Ja in a little bit. We're gonna get to Ja in a little bit. But when I look at right now, and when I look at the league MVP, when I look at these two guys, I'm more of an Embiid guy than I am. The thing that concerns me with Embiid is his health. But if he could hold up, Embiid's my guy.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. I'm a guy that likes scoring. I like offense, man. Put the ball in the hoop. That's the name of the game. That's why it's the first stat you see for a reason is score. First of all, people don't say, hey, what's the assist of that Lakers-Celtics game? What's the assist? What's the rebound of that Lakers-Celtics game? No, they say, what's the score?
Oh, my God.
Because that's what it's about. It's all about scoring. That's it. Can you put the ball in the hoop? And do you look pretty doing it? I like guys that look pretty scoring the ball. Pause.
Well, it don't help. There's a reason why he like guys who look pretty scoring, because there's a statue of a dude on Madison Avenue.
Facts.
Right? And he looked really good when he was scoring.
Tongue out. Pause.
Right.
Real talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep it a whole buck bean with you.
He a little bit biased
I'm
when it comes to that sort of thing. Yeah.
I'm spoiled.
Absolutely.
So, point blank period, Joel Embiid, it's not a damn thing he can't do offensively or defensively. Point blank period. When he get deep up in that bag, hold on, what's up in here? When he get the fumbling in that bag, it ain't a damn thing you could do about it. Both of these cats dropped 50, but Embiid did it on like 80% shooting from the field. Like, he's been so madly consistent, it's been crazy. He's literally carrying these guys with him, and him. Now, Tobias Harris is decent. He might be an all-star this year. We'll see. I doubt it. It's possible. But, I mean, no Ben Simmons and Daryl Morey is – you don't think so?
Not before Bridges in Charlotte.
True. I mean, Daryl Morey is refusing to flip Ben Simmons when these guys are in win mode right now. Like, you don't want to waste no time. If I was him, I would have just got that bug out of my locker room. Like, it's actually been some solid offers that I'm like he ain't take that? Yeah. 2 first rounds, a couple of cats that can help you win now? Like, why would you not? Like, What are you doing?
And
But
just so you know, Sacramento, they out. Sacramento made it clear that, we out. So essentially what Sacramento is Sacramento is, the chick that you keep calling up and,
yeah,
every time you call her, she always got some nonsense. All right, you know what, honey dip, I'm out. I'm good.
facts.
I tried to get
Sacramento
with you.
offered like De'Aaron Fox and some picks and a couple others. I would have
Yeah,
took that.
yeah, I'm out.
Like
Mm-mm.
what?
Yeah,
Y'all offered
absolutely.
De'Aaron Fox and Philly turned it down. I'm like,
They
boy,
said
y'all
no.
is tweaking.
Yeah, they said
De'Aaron
no.
Fox can help
Absolutely.
you
They
win
said
right now. Are you
no.
crazy?
Mhm. Especially on that Philly team.
Right.
Especially on that Philly team. Yes, he could.
And they tweak
Absolutely, he
hard on
could.
that one, but without Ben
Hmm.
Simmons, Jamal Murray is out of the lineup. He won't be back till close to the All-Star break. So Denver could really use a Jamal Murray. Will Barton is in and out of the lineup due to injury. So these guys is basically carrying their respective squads, and I love to see it, man. There's
Hmm.
nothing like great, great, great center play because it's a dying breed in this league. What you got, Unc?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that also because Joker is doing it with dudes like Monte Morris and Austin Rivers, uh,
Right.
Jeff Green and Aaron Gordon. Meanwhile, Joel's doing it with the group from last year that didn't have no business losing to Atlanta with Tobias Harris and Curry, one of the best sharpshooters in the game, right? Thibault, which is one of the best perimeter
Curry's been in and
defenders
out of the
in the game.
lineup. Martise Thybulle.
Absolutely. Got Maxey, who's turning into one of the better point guards in the game. So I think that Embiid is doing it with a little bit better unit, and I think he's more impactful. But when I look at what Joker is doing, you take Joker off that Denver team, I think they go to the bottom of the West.
Same thing with Joel. I believe that. I don't think Tobias Harris would be right back in Orlando. Where was he at prior to this?
He's with the Clippers.
The Clippers. Yeah,
Hmm.
garbage.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Hmm.
but again, give me Embiid. Y'all know I like scoring. Damn the defense. Even though the defense is there and we know what type of defender he is, I like scoring, and it ain't a damn thing he can't do offensively on this court. But interesting thing, right? Interesting thing. I was on Twitter, right? Swiping. Just swiping. Go follow your boy on Twitter at OG the Beast. Y'all already know. So I'm on Twitter, just looking. And I come across a post. I come across a little meme. The meme said it was simple. It was a picture of Ja Morant and it was a picture of Luka Doncic. And it had the less than greater than sign pointed towards Ja Morant. As if to say they're taking Ja Morant over Luka Doncic. And I looked at the comments. 80% of the comments agreed. See, this is what I call recency bias at its finest, right? Because a lot of fans only remember the last thing that they saw. And the last thing that you're looking at right now is Ja Morant is a all-star starter. His team is like the third or fourth seed in this conference, and they are balling. He's an MVP candidate right now. So Luka's not in that discussion. But we know what Luka's done throughout the course of his career, especially at an early age. So I ask you, with all this jibber jabber, who's the better player, Luka Doncic or Ja Morant?
I think Ja is a better athlete. I think Ja looks like he's got a better upside because I think that Luca coming into the league, there really wasn't much more that you were going to get from him. He was already playing against pros since 16 years old.
Right.
So coming into the NBA, he had already been polished more than any of the other young guys that he was coming in with. And I think that Ja's got a just like I talked about Jason Tatum as well with Luca. I think they got a better upside because there's more room for improvement. I don't think that you're going to see much more from Luca, but with that being said, I do think that Luca is more polished, and I do think that Luca is a better all-around player than Ja as of right now, and I stand on that.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. And I'm also not mad at the recency bias for Ja Morant right now. I like what Ja
Hmm.
Morant is doing, and I think he deserves to be praised at the level that he's being praised at. Luka Doncic has been phasing out a little bit when it comes to evaluators and these NBA talent evaluators. He was so hyped up to the point that some people was actually calling Luka overrated and questioning, is he really as good as people say, right? 2 first-round bounces to the same team 2 consecutive seasons in a row. And people were praising him for getting bounced by the Clippers, right? So now it's like, this shit is getting old, Luka. We're tired of seeing you average 26, 8, and 8. Are you going to transition that 26, 8, and 8 to a dub in the playoffs, or are you just, this is who you are? Are you Tracy McGrady? What is it? Because right now, Luka Doncic is averaging 25, 8, and 8, like I just said, shooting 43% from the field, 30% from three, and 75% from the free throw line. That is not all that, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact that he's giving me 25 a night, I'm not going to complain at his 43% field goal percentage. But that 30% from three is equivalent to what Westbrook is shooting right now. So if we're going to clown Westbrook for shooting 30% from three, we for damn sure better be clowning Luka Doncic as well. Point blank, period.
Garbage, no question. And don't leave out the fact that Dallas is 5th in the West right now. Last year they were 6th. So, for lack of a better term, this is an average team. This is not a team that. So I think it's for the 3rd straight year. This is where they are, 5th, 6th. So 4, 5, 6. So we're talking about an average team in Dallas. Now, Luka has improved, but this season his numbers have dropped, and I think that's primarily due to Jason Kidd implementing a new system and him getting more guys more involved. Because I remember you said something to me a while ago about how it doesn't look like it's easy to play with Luka, which it should be, considering the distributor that he is, considering the playmaker that he is. It should be less difficult to play with this guy, only except it hasn't been. And it looks like early it was a struggle, but he looks like he's starting to come around and he's starting to be more of a distributor. He's complaining less to the officials. His technical fouls have gone down, and I think a lot of that has to do with Jason Kidd holding him accountable for his actions and him getting kicked out of games and complaining all the time. Yo, my man, just play. All right? Just get the nonsense off of you and just play. Yeah. But when I look at his game overall, I just don't know how much better he could get. But as of right now, I still feel like he's still better than the majority of the guards in the game, including Ja Morant.
I agree with that, but right now I'm going to give Ja Morant his flowers. So if I had to choose right now, I'm taking Ja Morant over Luka Doncic right now today, right? Moving forward. Until I see something better from Luka Doncic, because right now Ja Morant was predominantly known as a kid that couldn't shoot the ball. I remember just last season, people were backing off Ja Morant at the three-point line saying, I dare you to shoot it. Go shoot it. That's how people was treating him. He goes from that to shooting 35% this season. That tells me that this guy was in the gym working on his craft. 35, 7, and 6 for Ja Morant on the season, shooting 48% from the field, 35% from three, and 77% from the free throw line. Those are great splits, especially for a guy coming into this league that was predominantly known as a guy you leave open at the three-point line. Do not guard him at the three-point line. Guys were backing off Ja Morant just last season.
Right.
Has an off season, comes back shooting 35% from the three-point line. That's incredible. So shout out to Ja Morant. If I'm moving forward right now, I'm taking Ja Morant over Luka Doncic just off the strength that he's not only showing that he's a better scorer, but he's a better shooter than Luka Doncic. Point blank, period.
Now, I will tell you this, though. I look at that crew that he on. I think that he's on a better team. So we got that absolutely factors in. I think he's on a much better team.
I'm just talking about as an individual.
Well, even as an individual, I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to listen to. I'm not going to listen to this Derrick Rose, Ja Morant comparison, because I remember Derrick Rose when he was in year 3 and in year 4. You know, it's actually closer than you think. No, it's not. It is not. I was watching Derrick Rose, and I was watching the athlete that he was. I was watching the impact that he had. Derrick Rose, before that injury, I wasn't worried about him coming up lame. I saw Ja Morant 2 seasons in a row, early, coming up lame, and that worries me with him, right? That absolutely worries me with him. Not to mention, when he's out the lineup, we talking, I think they 10-2. When he's out the lineup, 11 games that he's missed, they won 9 of those 11 games. So that's a big deal for me when we're talking about moving forward with being the league MVP. Because if your team is rolling with you out the lineup, that means that's a good-ass team, right? That's a damn good team. They were number 1 in the league, number 1 in the league overall in defense, number 3 in the league in block shots. It was in the top 3 in the league in rebounding. That's a damn good team that they got down there in Memphis. And Ja And it helps Ja that with the talent level that he has, that he integrates himself into what they're doing. But that's a damn good team they got, and I can't discount that.
Shout out to Love's intern. He said a watered down LeBron. He said he's Larry Bird without a jump shot. Luka Doncic. What you think about that?
Oh, he's
No.
absolutely not Bird without it. No,
He
he's
said
not
he
Bird without a
Bird
jump
without a
shot.
jump shot.
Thing
That
about
was
Bird
funny.
that you
That was
guys got to
funny.
understand, man, and I could appreciate the Bird Luka comparison. You guys have no idea how good Bird was,
Yeah.
none whatsoever, man. How awesome! I could. We ain't got enough time on this show that I could talk to you about how awesome Larry Bird was. I'll tell you this: he was all NBA first team as a rook.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say about Bird.
Yeah, him and Magic pretty much carried the entire '80s. Without Bird, I mean, I don't know if there is a Magic. Without Magic, I don't know if there is a Bird. I mean, you could take it back to college. They've been rivals, and that rivalry pretty much carried the entire NBA in the 1980s. It probably wouldn't be in existence if it wasn't for those two guys. So shout out to Larry Bird. He's going to always have my respect, and he's never coming out of the top 10 just solely for that reason, just out of the respect factor that he has, because without him, there'd probably be no NBA right now. But that was an interesting discussion. I kind of, when I saw that Luka and Ja Morant thing, it kind of made me bat an eye. I'm like, we need to talk about this. I want Unc opinion on this and who he taking. So you go Luka, I go Ja Morant. It is what it is at this point. I just think Ja Morant is the better player right now. Damn the 8-8. Ja Morant is 7-6. I'm fine with that, and it's better shooting splits. And I'm a guy that has efficiency at the top of my list. Like if you inefficient, you better be averaging like 28, 20, 27 plus to be inefficient, right? So that's why I can't get with Russell Westbrook shooting 43%, but averaging 18 a night. That's bad Benny for me. But moving on. Yeah. Leading the league in turnovers. Like, come on, bro. The bad is outweighing the good with you at some point. Somebody did say he was taking off this game, though, so we'll see what happens with the Lakers. They made a comeback. But a couple of nights ago, I was watching the league, right? not DeMar DeRozan. Boogie Cousins. I forget who he signed with. What game was I watching? Denver. Boogie Cousins was in the game. Got called for a foul that he didn't feel like was a foul. Stomped his feet a little bit. Bounced the ball on the ground kind of hard. So they gave him a technical foul. And I'm looking like, that's not a technical foul. Why is the league calling this a technical foul? It's either A, Adam Silver is stressing this to the refs to be more strict with shit like this, or B, the referees just getting their feelings because they got way too much power. Things like this used to get discussed at the end of games, right? Certain teams used to break down the amount of foul calls that was called, why they were called, when they were called, and say, look, my superstar ain't getting treated like this superstar. Look at the amount of foul calls was called over the course of the last 5 games versus the guys that we've played against. Why are we not getting these calls? So then the league would talk to the referees, and the referees would favor that superstar. Mark Cuban was famous for doing that with Dirk. Cuban would always complain to the league office, Dirk Nowitzki's not getting the calls that he deserves. He's a superstar in this league. Look at the calls LeBron is getting. Look at the calls Kobe's getting. Look at the calls Pierce is getting. Why is my guy not getting these calls? Then for the next week or so, Dirk would get a whole bunch of foul calls, and he'd shoot a whole bunch of free throws and average 28 points for that week, and then it'll go away again. Cycle repeats itself. But I just think the referees got way too much power in today's game. Like I say, I don't know if Silver is stressing this, but the league is soft. Not only the NBA, the NFL is trending towards offense as well. The league is soft, right? For these guys to get teched over showing emotion, they are not robots. These guys are human beings. They have reactions to shit that they don't agree with. So why are they not able to showcase the reaction? Now, in the 90s, you used to be able to take a tech on the chin, and it's like, whatever. Jordan dunked on Mount Mutombo, finger waved him, right? It's a technical foul, but nobody cares. It is what it is. Shoot the free throws. Let's move on. To get ejected over that? Is the league soft or what, Unc? What you think?
I'm not going to say soft because there are some things that are warranted. So, for example, you brought up Boogie Cousins. Boogie got a rep.
True.
Boogie has a rep of constantly getting into it with officials. Now, What I equate that to is I equate that to the police. Now, you might treat me a little bit different if you've seen me 3 or 4 different times and we've had encounters. You're going to treat me different as opposed to you pulled me over for the first time and you ain't never seen me before.
Right.
All right. So Boogie got a rep with officials. And not only does he have a rep with officials, those guys, like Boogie Cousins, the word gets out. And when the word gets out, listen, we're not going to tolerate anything from him. All right. We're not going to listen to any noise from him because when you get officials together, the one thing I refereed for 5 years. All right. I refereed for 5 years. I refereed at the Division III and the JUCO level.
That's
And
dope.
the one thing that I was always taught, do not involve yourself in the game. They're going to involve you in the game. Do let them involve you in the game. Do not involve yourself in the game because that's where officials get themselves in trouble. Well, where's the line? What I don't want, let me tell you what I don't want, Chris. I don't want things to get out of control. I don't want my game to get out of hand. So if I got Boogie Cousins and let's say Jamichael, the kid from Denver, if I got these two barking at each other, or him and Whiteside barking at each other, I better get control of that. So now my whistle's gonna blow, and it's gonna blow every trip. You know why? Because I got to get control of my game. Because the last thing I want is for my game to get out of control and for a fight to break out. I do not want that. Absolutely not. We all know that scoring, like you say to me all the time, put the ball in the basket. That's what people want to see.
Yep.
That's what lights up the TV. That's what raises ratings. You could care less if you got a 75-70 game. You don't want to watch that. You do want to watch a 110-114 game. You absolutely
look at
want
this
to watch
last
that.
comment. Refs need post-game pressers. I 1,000% agree with that. Imagine
Having to explain yourself, sure.
if the guy that didn't make the pass interference call, Saints versus Vikings, Stephon Diggs. What if that guy had to sit up there? What if Dak Prescott, the guy that bumped Dak Prescott and didn't get the ball, what if he had to sit his ass on that podium and explain what the hell happened?
He got to explain himself. Absolutely.
I think they should look into that.
Well, the NBA if I'm not mistaken, the NBA does have what is it? The 2 minute. I think it's the 2 minute rule, the 2 minute check, where at the end of games where they evaluate these guys. Well, you got this call wrong and you got that call wrong.
Yeah.
Only except they don't have to explain themselves.
Right.
Right. But they do have to explain themselves. And what do you mean they have to explain themselves? Well, as a supervisor of officials, they have me on tape. And when they have me on tape and I miss Anthony Davis diving to the bucket in the meat and potatoes of the game and him clearly getting hit on the arm by Andre Drummond, and I don't call that, well, I'm going to get a call from the league office. I got to explain that.
Facts.
What were you looking at? What were you looking at? What position were you in? Why were you in this position? What made you not call this? Now, a lot of times officials can find themselves wrapped up in the game. And I might see a call and I'm like, oh, that was a foul. Okay, where are you?
Right.
Because I'm wrapped up in watching the game. I got a good ball game going on.
Right.
And I might miss a foul and I'm thinking, whoa, that was a foul.
Right.
Focus. And then I have to explain myself. I missed it. What I can't do though is I can't keep saying I missed it.
Right.
No.
Otherwise, the league gonna miss you.
Well, not only is the league gonna miss me, Coach Chris right here. Coach Chris ain't gonna keep listening to me going, my fault, I missed that. He ain't gonna keep listening to that. He don't want to hear that.
My bad.
He don't want to. No, he don't want to hear that. I'll tell you what. Miss it again and watch what happens.
Exactly. That's your
Miss
ass.
it again and you watch what. Yeah, exactly.
It's
watch
funny.
What
I used to referee. I used to be an umpire for women and boys baseball and softball. So I know the pressure that it takes to be a referee in games. You know, I was like, 12U softball and baseball. So, I was behind there and got to call balls and strikes and got to pay attention to everything that's going on. And I was a guy that umped the game by myself. I didn't have a second ump to call safe on second or third. I had to run my ass out there and really get in tune with it. So, I get the pressures of being an umpire and being a referee in these sports games, man. But you guys got to get it right. It is what it is, and ain't really nothing you could do or say about it. Just do your job to the best of your abilities, and if it's something that needs to be explained, explain it. Or you could treat these guys like they used to do back in the day, and just tell them, "Shut the hell up and play ball, you sissy."
You can do that.
You can't do that in today's game though, because everybody's so sensitive. If somebody say some shit like that today, they'll be looking at cancel culture, be coming out the blue, out the woodwork. So, I get it though. But I want to play a game, right? I want to play a game. Right? I'm going to name players and I'm going to name teams. First, we're going to start off with some teams. I want you to let me know if this team, in the words of Dennis Green, are who we thought they were, right? Whether they be frauds or whether they be contenders or whether they be right where they should be, or do you expect more or less from this team or player? Whatever the case may be, is the place that they are at right now where they should be? Are they frauds? Are they contenders? Should they be better? Should they be worse? I didn't see this coming. I want to know a short explanation for each one that I named. The Phoenix Suns, number 1 in the Western Conference.
I expected this.
You expected this?
I did. I had them around between 1 and 3.
Okay. So they right where they should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the Grizzlies? Third seed in the Western Conference.
Absolutely didn't expect this. I had them in the 8th seed. I had them in the play-in tournament. I did not have them at the top of the Western Conference.
So would you call the Grizz pretenders or contenders?
I'm not ready to call them contenders yet because the playoffs are a completely different animal.
No doubt. What about the Lakers, 9th seed?
Completely wrong. I had the Lakers at the number 2, 3 seed tops. That's where I had them at. And the fact that I think they're in 8th place right now, 9th place right now. No, I had that completely wrong.
Contenders or pretenders for the Lakers?
I think they pretenders, no doubt about it.
I'd
be surprised. I'd be surprised if they won a first round playoff series.
Real talk. What about the Blazers, 10th seed in the West right now?
They're also pretenders. I had them at 8 before the season started, and I had said I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. That wouldn't surprise me.
So you predicted this. You called this.
I did say that because they're the same team, very similar to the team from 19 that went to the West Finals, only except they didn't improve. Everybody else in the West improved. Yeah. They didn't.
Copy that. I ain't mad at it. What about the Bulls, 2nd seed in the East?
I had the Bulls in the 8th seed before the season started, and the reason why is because how much better the East got. And my question about the Bulls was, what would they be like on the defensive end? And they answered that question. I did not have them at the top of the Eastern Conference, though.
Contenders or pretenders?
I think they legit. I absolutely think that they're legit.
What about your boys, the Nets?
I had the Nets they are where I thought they were going to be, but they're about to. I think that they're going to go the other way, losing KD for as long as they're going to lose him for, and Kyrie being in and out the lineup. But I had them in the 2, 3, in the 1, 2, 3 spot, so I'm not surprised that they are there. But I do see them going out the way. Pretenders. I don't have them. No. I think y'all better than.
What about the Knicks, 11th seed in the Eastern Conference after going to the playoffs last year?
I had them around the 7, 8 spot before the season started, and I expected R.J. Barrett to come back better. I expected them to be better this season, and they've been a disappointment.
Facts.
To me, no question about that.
So they pretenders, definitely.
Yes, they are.
What about the Atlanta Hawks at the 12th seed? Is this where they supposed to be?
No, I had Atlanta right behind Boston at the 6th seed, and it could have been anywhere between 6, 5, and 4 with Atlanta, and I expected them to be better this year too. But the problem with Atlanta is that they're not sneaking up on anybody, and that's what's that's what's killing them.
That's a great take.
I think they pretenders.
So they pretenders. That's a great take. That is a great take. What about the Cavs, 3 seed?
Absolutely blew my mind. I had them on the outside of the play-in tournament looking. I think I had them at 11, and these guys have absolutely outperformed what I thought that they were going to be. Them being a top 3 seed is not something that I saw. Absolutely not.
Contenders.
I think they're legit. I think they legit.
So
I do.
Legit?
I think they legit.
That's it for the teams. That was good stuff. Good stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's it for the teams. Let's do some players. Ja Morant. What you think about Ja Morant? Is this where he's supposed to be? Is he overachieving? Is he underachieving? Or is he right where he should be?
think Ja Morant is just a little overrated. A little bit. I don't think he's completely overrated, but I do think he's a little overrated. Like you and me had this conversation a while ago, and we talked about our top 10, and I had him at 10, and I had Luka at 9, and I do think he's a top 10 player, but right at the top of the top 10, right
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom of the top 10. That's
I
where I
ain't
got
mad
him
at
at.
that. What about Jordan Poole, averaging 17, 3, and 3 on the season?
I think Jordan Poole is really good in his role with the Golden State Warriors, and I think he is right where he should be. I think that team, the way that they play, is perfect for what he's doing. He's basically in a Jordan Clarkson role,
Yeah,
and I think that he's perfect for what he's doing with them.
no doubt, no doubt. What about Dame Lillard? Is what you seeing right now from Dame Lillard sustainable? Is this who he is? Is he underachieving or is he overachieving?
Well, Dame been hurt, so he's been out the lineup, and he's going to be out the lineup for another month. But I don't think that you're getting any more. We in year 9 with Dame. I think we're in year 9. You're not getting any more. This is it
So
from
this is
from
what
Dame.
Dame's gonna be for the rest of his career. You think?
Until he starts to slow down, this is who he is.
Mm. He's at 24-6 right now. I think before the injury, terrible shooting splits though. But
I'm thinking between 22 and 24 a game, about 5, 6 assists. I think that's who Dame is.
no doubt, no doubt.
Hmm.
What about DeJounte Murray? Is this a fluke or is this
No,
who he is?
no, I think
19,
that
19, 9, and 8.
hey, I think and I heard a lot of nonsense about this, but I tell you what, I think that Pop may have his point guard of the future and a guy that we could build around because he's gotten better he got better from last year. Before he tore up his knee, he was looking good. He came back. Last year he was at 16 and he's a really good all-around guard. He's gotten better this year, and I think that we're going to get more out of him.
Even
So
defensively, man,
absolutely.
his length, his movement,
Yeah,
lateral quickness, he's
absolutely.
got it
I'm
all.
digging him.
If I can get him to expand his range and work on his outside shot, this
Hmm.
kid could average 22 to 24 points a game. Just
Yes,
off
sir.
just off that off strengthening. But I love me
Hmm.
some DeJounte Murray, man. He's a dog.
Yeah.
What about Steph Curry? Is what you seeing from Steph Curry consistent? Is it a fluke? Is this what you expected? What about Steph?
Well, I've said this to you countless times. I always felt like by year 5, this is who you are. Now, you might get some better seasons after that, but by year 5, this is what you can expect. And Steph he gave you some more years where he led the league in scoring. But as of right now, if Steph Curry, after year 5, Steph Curry averages 24, 5, I think, and 6. If you ended today with Steph Curry, I think he's 23 a game. So Steph is right where he is, and this is it. I think he's got 2, maybe 3 more years at this level before he starts to slow down.
Okay, so what about this season? You think it's a fluke of what he's doing, or is there more to come from this below average
No,
field goal shooting?
I think this is it. I think he's in a shooting slump, but Steph Curry has one of those games where, because I think he shot himself out of the MVP talk,
He
but
did.
he's got one of those games where he could shoot himself right back in it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's got one of
If
those
he
kind of
drop, he's a
games.
50 bomb away from chirpers.
Yeah,
The
that's exactly
whispers.
what he is.
Yeah.
He's a 50 bomb and 235 a game
Mm-hmm.
point, 35 a game, 35 games where next thing you know, okay, Steph's back in the conversation.
Yeah.
He could get himself right back in it
Real
really quick.
quick, real quick. Uh, so we got Miles Bridges who's giving you 20 and 7. What you think?
I'm
Is he pretend? Is he a fraud, or is this what you might get from him from here
I'm
on out?
glad you mentioned that because the dude with the statue outside the arena, he gonna have to open up the checkbook because he put $60 million 4 years on the table, and Miles told him, "Nah, my man, you hold on to that because I've been working
He
on
bet
my
on
game."
himself.
Yeah, I've been working on my game, and now we looking at a dude who he might make the All-Star team, and he's obviously gotten better, right? He looks to me like an 18 to 20 a game guy, and 60 million ain't enough, Mike. I need to hold some more. Otherwise, I'm a bounce.
He finna apply some pressure. Mike got to open that
Yeah,
book.
he
Sign that
got
man. He
to.
got to. What about Kyle Kuzma? 15 and 9 this year. Kyle Kuzma shooting 45% from the field, 33% from three. You think this is who Kuz is? Is he better? Is he underachieving, overachieving, or is this what you expect from Kuz?
Who's is one of those guys that he's got to be in the right system,
Yeah.
and he's one of those guys where the leash It could be long, but it's got to be one of those leashes where you can get it really quickly and don't let him go too far because Kuz doesn't really strike me as he doesn't have a high basketball IQ. He's not dumb, but he doesn't have a high basketball IQ, and you can't leave him that far out in the ocean.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's much more from Kuz. You might get an all-star team. You might get an all-star nod from him, maybe. But I think he could be a 17 to 19 a game guy.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
That was my expectation for Kuz. I didn't expect him to get as many double doubles as he's gotten this year because he's got a tremendous. He's got like 20 double doubles this year. So shout out to Kuz. He's got more double doubles than LeBron James. So that's a feat, that needs to be discussed. Andrew Wiggins, 18 a night, all-star starter. Is this who he is? Is he pretending? Is he a fraud, or is this really who he is?
Because this is what we're gonna have to. We're in year 8 now, right? So we already know that he's 19 a game, 19, 20 a game for his career. The question is now where is he gonna be where he can sustain these numbers and it can mean something, as opposed to it being empty where he was before. And if he can stay here where he is in Golden State and continue this, what he's doing, and make another All-Star, make 2, 3 more All-Stars. I think he can do that with the way he's playing. I do think that we can get another. I think we can get some more All-Star nods out of him.
If he continues with that and just being a part of a winning culture, that could low key get him in the Hall of Fame, like the Naismith Hall of Fame, definitely for sure. Last but not least, Darius Garland, 20 and 8. We talked about him earlier. Is what you seeing from Darius? Is this the real deal, or is he? You think this temporary? What you think?
Hey, let me tell you something, my man. A wise woman once told me, anybody could train a secretary. You could screw him up too, though. And the fact that this dude is running with who he running with, and the system that he's in, having the vets that he had. So now he loses Rubio, and now he's got Rondo. And I think Bickerstaff is a good coach. I think the sky's the limit for this kid, man. I'm loving Garland.
Me too.
I don't like him. I'm loving him.
I like Sexton too. I really do. And I like what he brings from a scoring element. Y'all know I like scoring. If Garland could continue this 20 and 8 pace, which I really didn't see from Garland. I thought if I had to choose one, I thought it was going to be Sexton that was going to be the guy that was going to control the ball, dictate the pace and the flow of the offense. But what Garland has shown you in this role is that if you choose to re-sign Colin Sexton next year, he can play the 2 for you. Let Garland run the 1, and have, if he can give you 20 and 8, man, oh man, you could win some games like that. With a guy like Mobley and you got Jared Allen and you got a bunch of these guys. Like, this team is loaded, man, and they ready. And they prize to do something special, especially if they decide to sign Colin Sexton back, which I think they should. Now, Max, I don't know. But I think they need to get this guy back on a 4 or 5 year, at least $85 million deal, something like that. Like,
I think they move on from sex.
You think though? You think? I'm afraid.
I think they move
to
on
be
from
honest
sex.
with you, I think they do too. I honestly think they do.
I think it's going to be a mistake too. I think it's going to be a mistake.
I don't think they should. That's real talk.
Yeah,
I think they're going to move
gonna
on from. They're going to let him walk. But I think it's a mistake. I don't think they should.
I think it's going to be a mistake to let him move to move on from him, but I think they will.
Well, I had a great time, man. Let's wrap this show up. Let's do some questions from the fans. W's in the chat if you enjoying yourself right now. W's in the chat if you enjoying yourself. I had a blast today, man. This was a great show, man. Y'all the shit. Questions from the fans, man. Rain them in. Anything you want to ask us. It don't even have to be about sports. It could be about life. It could be about your ex-girlfriend that just broke up with you, that bad text you just got. I don't give a damn. Pick my brain. If you want to know something about me, something about Unc, just let me know. W's in the chat, man, if you enjoyed yourself, man. We appreciate every single one of you that's in here, all the loyals on YouTube as well that's going to tune in and watch. I had a couple of questions from YouTube. Some guys wanted to ask. Let me see if I can find it while we here on this segment.
It's crazy that you mentioned about Sexton. I mean, how many guards in the game are averaging 25 a game?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
I'm trying to think of the guards in the game that are averaging 25 a game. How many?
Ones or does it matter?
Just guards. Just guards that are averaging 25 a game. Right? So DeRozan averaging 25 a game.
Levine.
Zach averaging 25 a game. Trey averaging 25 a game. Just guards. Is Steph even
Steph
averaging?
is
Yeah, he
at
averaging 20. I think he's at
he
25.
was just at 26. I think he dropped to 25.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to get a rundown of them guys, man. And it's
So
that's a great question, though.
you thinking of moving? You thinking of moving to the U.S.? Where you moving from, my man? Because it depends on where you're trying to move from. Now, where my nephew he live in Chicago, and this time of year it's a little chilly up there. All right. Now, if you come from a city, if you come from a country where it ain't that cold, Chicago ain't one of the places that you want to live in. That's number one. Chicago is not a place that you want to live in. You want to move down south, right? I live down south, so that might be the idea. It depends on where you live, where you
Yeah, if you
coming
plan
from,
on coming
and
here, man, plan on being cold, man. Plan on being
depends on
cold.
where you trying to live. So
Let's see, Tupac or Biggie? I know Unc gonna say Biggie. I'm taking my man Pac.
Papa, dropper, rapper at the drop of a hat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All day long, no doubt. I dig Anthony Edwards, my man. I dig Anthony Edwards. I think he's a cornerstone
He
to
said
what that Minnesota franchise is doing. Absolutely. I
he
dig
said
him.
Unc had everybody at the AC. Agreed. People saying Ja's better than Luka. Kuzma, that dude. W Hawks rolling. Thoughts on them being on a 5-game? Hopefully they find their way into the play-in, man, because they ass right now. I mean, they on the game, they on the 5-game. You know, we like to see it, but hopefully they find some way to get into that play-in because I want to see Trey in the playoffs. He stole the show last year. We need Trey back in the playoffs, man. Unc made a
I
great
don't
point.
think
They ain't sneaking up on nobody. That could be the problem.
no, they're not. To answer your question about James passing Jabbar and then getting into the 10,000 point, 10,000 assist club, I already feel the way I feel about him. So all of that stuff that he does, that just adds to the legend for me. That's not going to change my opinion on him or how I feel about him. So it wouldn't be if he got the 40,000 points and 10,000. That's not going to change my. That's not going to change my mind. I already feel the way I feel about him. That's
What
just going to add to the legend.
to me, I haven't closed the door on the notion of LeBron being the greatest player of all time. But he's forcing my hand. If he were to get one more ring and be the all-time leading scorer with 12,000, he's forcing my hand. At that point, if that were to happen,
That's nuts.
if LeBron gets 40,000, 12,000, 12,000 with 5 rings, he's the GOAT. I'm
That's
sorry.
essentially what that is. That's it. It would be the Mount. This is the Mount Rushmore, and this James.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think D'Angelo Russell is the difference in why Minnesota is in the playoffs this year, as opposed to last year when he was in and out of the lineup. That's that inconsistent floor leader that you guys didn't have, and that distributor and that guy that was on the basketball that you didn't have last year. I think he's the difference in why Minnesota is in playoff contention this year.
If you were building a franchise, who would you want as your head coach? All time or just right now? If we doing all time, I'm biased, so I might go Phil Jackson. But Phil Jackson had a way to get to his players that I've never seen a head coach have as much talent as Phil Jackson and be able to control that talent in ways that other coaches will have issues doing it. Rick Carlisle is considered a great coach. He bounced because of Luka Doncic. He couldn't deal with him. He said, I'm up out of here. He's nothing like Dirk. I'm gone. So it's like it's very easy for you shit to hit the fan and that to happen to you. But the Zen Master, man, he knew how to deal with the egos of Michael Jordan being the greatest player of all time, completely changing his game to suit his system. He knew how to deal with the egos of Shaq and Kobe, actually finding out how to get to them boys through each other. That's genius. If y'all didn't know, Phil Jackson got to Shaq and Kobe through each other. He was in the background stirring up shit. You heard what Kobe said about you? Hey, Kobe, you heard what Shaq said about you? He wanted them to fight on purpose because it brought out a different element. That was his way that he used to get to Shaq and Kobe. Now, his approach to Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan was different, but his ability to figure that out, I'm definitely going with the Zen Master now that I think of it. Damn, being biased. Give me the Zen Master.
In fact, he did the same thing when he was with the Bulls. Like you just said about Kobe and Shaq, he did the same thing with the Bulls. You know Jerry Krause trying to break us up, right?
Right.
You know Jerry Krause, he the reason why this thing is not going to stay together. We could stay together. So what we could do is we could keep winning to spite him. So he did the same thing when he was with the Bulls. The exact same thing.
Few more questions before we get up out of here. Somebody said, True Hero says Russ has 35. He better have something, 30-something. Ain't nobody playing. It's just him. Him and Horton Tucker. LeBron is out. AD is out. He better have 30.
Whoa. Who's more fun to watch? Patty Mahomes or Mike Vick? What? Whoa. Because I always knew that at some point Mike was gonna do something that was gonna make me. Yeah. I always knew he was gonna do that, but Patty Mahomes,
he got that element too, though. Mahomes,
yeah, he does, yo.
To where it's like I know he finna like offhand open his hips against the grain, like no look. He got so much swagger to his game that he's must-see TV every time he's on. So it's like Vic was like that too. The Michael Vick experience is something I would never, ever, ever live down.
That was nuts, man. Absolutely nuts.
I probably have to go with Patty Mahomes, though. I probably have to go with Mahomes, though. It's more exciting to watch. I might have to go.
I gotta go with Vic.
You gotta go with Vic. I'm not mad at you.
He was must-see TV, man.
I'm not mad at that, though. Yeah, but we gonna get on up out of here, man. Dubs in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. I appreciate y'all showing up on this January 28th. The month is almost over. It is cold outside. Hopefully we get some warm weather within the next month or so out here in Chicago. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all that joined in. Same thing for you loyal YouTubers that wait on these videos to drop. You know, I appreciate every single one of y'all. We love y'all. Unc, let's get the hell out of here.
Take it light, but take it.
We out.